Hey, welcome back. So glad to be with you today. So glad to connect. I hope you're having a great day, a blessed day, and getting 1% better than yesterday and breaking free from anything that's holding you back from having the best day ever and becoming the best version of yourself. Today's another great day. I'm just stringing them along, and that's going to equal a great month. I can't believe it's the end of March. It was a great month, and you start stringing the months together and they turn into years, and you start stringing the years together and it turns into a life. And we're going to try to have the best life that we can have. Things are good. Got some stuff I want to talk to you today, some stuff that I think is really great that can help us on our break-free journey and hopefully inspire you as well, including myself. I want to show you two quick finds I got from the thrift store, and I will discuss that a little bit more when I talk about my March 2023 side hustle and income report. It was a good month, and the thrift store really helped me turn it into a good month. I also want to talk about Warren Buffett's 15 smartest frugal living habits that you need to know ASAP, that you need to know for your journey towards freedom. And they are, as you can imagine, really great considering he's one of the best financial minds that have ever lived. And I also want to talk about a Paul Simon song that I think is a warning, and I never heard it that way until I really started analyzing it the last 24 hours or so. Slip Sliding Away, Paul Simon. That song hit me different recently, and I think it can very much help us on our break-free journey. So I'll get right into the topics. Warren Buffett's 15 smartest frugal living habits that we can apply to our lives on our journey towards freedom. Have you applied any of these? Have they worked for you? Is there some that you need to do or wish you have done? Number one, choose a career that you love. It's going to help you live frugally. You'll be less tempted to make impulse purchases to compensate for unhappiness at work. Brilliant, genius. How many people do that in their lives? I bet you go up and down the street, there's a lot. How many people are even blessed enough to choose a career that you love? I hope that you are. I know a lot of you are. And if you aren't, there's time to break free by following this advice. I was blessed to kind of fall into a career that I loved. I don't know if I was meant to do much else, but being a waiter is something that I do love. And I have loved my side hustle now of Instacarting and gigging and all that stuff. So I'm very lucky. There were times when I necessarily didn't love parts of it, and I may have tried to compensate, and I had to learn that lesson the hard way. So again, don't compensate with purchases. Find something you love. It will help you live frugal. Number two, marry someone who shares the same financial values. Again, I got very lucky there. Married super mom and super wife. She's the glue that holds it all together. A strong marriage is built on strong shared values, including financial ones. If you are a team, you can bond together and supercharge your goals to achieve your financial goals. And luckily, we are on the same team. We weren't always on the same page. And once we sat down to get on the same page, we have become stronger and closer than ever, and our lives have become less stressed, and we've been able to do more guilt-free, do more stress-free, see some of our goals come true, like becoming debt-free, and have hope. And hope is not a strategy, but have hope and put into action plans for the future to hopefully have a dignified retirement. And we're investing and saving a lot of money for that. So hopefully things will just get better and better. So, I got lucky there. Marry someone with the same financial values. I know that is not always the case either. And I didn't really think of it, at the time. What are our same financial values? Because I just had no concept of it. So I got really lucky there. But it's something to consider. And the more you know. Number three, don't invest with borrowed money. It's going to expose you to more loss. If the market turns against you, and there will be downturns in the market, it's going to expose you to not only what you put in, but the stuff that you owe back for what you put in. So do not invest with borrowed money. That's something I can't comprehend, but I'm sure it happens out there. Number four, buy a house based on what you need. Don't buy a house based on what you can afford. That was my mindset, of course, because I had no concept of any of this things, any of this stuff in my late 20s, early 30s. And I just hope this message finds the younger people. And if it finds you wherever you are, it's not too late to learn. Trust me. Warren Buffett purchased his house in 1958 for $31,000. And guess what? He still lives there. If you do not overspend on your house, you can invest that money saved into something else. And guess what? That money invested is going to buy your freedom. What's the point of having a gigantic house in a great neighborhood if you get up every day and hate your life? And you get up every day and hate your job. And you're not getting along with your spouse because you don't share the same values. Think about this stuff. This is really, really true for your freedom. Number 5, a car is just for transportation. Warren Buffett drives older, modest cars. His newest car, I think, is that he drives now is from 2014. A car is not a status symbol. Get from point A to point B. That's a lesson that my grandpa told me. And that's kind of rang true. I've never been a car guy. I've always been grateful for the cars I've had. The first car I ever got was a hand-me-down from my wife. Then I had a hand-me-down from my grandma. Eventually, we purchased new cars and paid them off, and I was grateful for the ones I've had. Maybe I'm not the best driver in the world. I'm not going to confirm that right now. So, like, car has never been the thing that I base my life around. I know some people do. But, again, you can save that money. What's the point of driving to work in your status symbol car and crying on the way? Your freedom is more important. Number 6, be careful with loans. Warren Buffett cautions against unnecessary debt. He mentions houses is okay, obviously, to take out your education only if you can afford to pay it off. I was just talking with some customers yesterday, and their grandson had some scholarships from Ivy League schools, but they wouldn't completely pay for it. And it was like $70,000 a year versus going to a state school in New York that would be completely paid for. And, we're talking about debt, and I didn't let on that I was out of debt or anything like that. But I like having that knowledge in my back pocket. And I was just saying how happy that kid will probably be in 10 years, not having that debt strapped to him. Number 7, Warren Buffett says, focus on quality over brand name. He says, opt for the best value for your money regardless of the brand. Number 8, avoid unnecessary spending. I love this one. And this one really hits home as, for Buffett, one of the richest men in the world, right? He's mindful of his spending habits. He doesn't splurge because he can afford them. He focuses on what is going to bring value into his life and just stop wasting money on unnecessary things. You get a little money piled up, me or you. I've been talking about I have a nice little cushion on here from my reselling and whatever, and I can buy something right now. Easily, I could buy something and still have a little bit of money left over. But, focus, be mindful of your spending. Why are you trying to spend it? Is it going to bring value to your life? Is it going to help you achieve your main goal? My main goal is freedom. And be very mindful of your unnecessary spending. Number 9, buy food that is of good value. So stick to your budget, prioritize nutrient-dense, affordable meals. Buy food that has a good value. So I guess that means don't eat out as much. But as a waiter, I say eat out every night because that's my livelihood. But, the people I see are not doing it every day. The people I see, once a month, and thankfully it's just a nice cycle where I can get these people in and out. But, be very mindful if you're going to be paying down your debt. And if you want to start saving money, buy food that is of good value. Today for lunch, I'm going to have some ground beef, a little spinach over the top of it, and I'm going to be very happy with that. I had a little trail mix, good enough for me. Number 10, use coupons. Warren Buffett still says use coupons. Save money where you can. He has old habits that die hard. There's a story of how he took Bill Gates out to lunch, and they had somewhat frugal lunch, and Warren Buffett goes, I'm going to buy your lunch. And Bill Gates was astounded that when he pulled out his wallet, he was pulling out coupons for the meal. These are, guys that could cure world hunger with their food. It's insanity. But Use coupons. Use every tool necessary to your advantages. Number 11, something that I am pretty used to, is going to be to use cash for your purchases. He thinks it's easier to keep track of your spending. He believes that when you hand over your cash, when you're making that purchase of $20 at the gas station or at Walmart or at the grocery store, you're more able to feel the weight of that transaction rather than just sticking a little piece of plastic in and out. He also says it avoids pesky credit card debt and pesky credit card fees. Now, for us, we use cash and we use a debit card, but a lot of the cash that we use is not always tracked. Though when I feel we use our debit card, that stuff is easily tracked because my wife can see those transactions and we put it into a spreadsheet and okay, we spent $35 at Wegmans with the credit card versus if I spent $9 at the thrift store versus cash, like I'd have to tell her and then she'd have to put it in. Whereas if we just use the debit card, it's kind of automatically logged for us. So, but I get what he's saying about how you can feel the weight of the transaction. Number 12, he says shop sales. It's a great way to find value. But one of the major thing is when you are pursuing your financial freedom is just because it's on sale doesn't mean it's a great deal. And that's certainly a minimalist tactic too. Because it's on sale doesn't mean you need it. Warren Buffett advises to be patient and to be a savvy shopper and also to be a patient and savvy investor. Number 13, don't upgrade before it's needed. Frugal living tips that you need to know now for your freedom from Warren Buffett. The latest gadgets, the latest toys. There's so much here in this household that we do not upgrade before it is needed. Our cars, they're paid off. They have their issues. Car stuff's going to come up, but we don't necessarily need to buy a new car. Paid off. I'd rather pay the little bill than buy a new car. Your house itself, our kitchen needs to be done. The siding on your house could be painted or redone, but it's not needed right now. Our couch is getting there. We got some rough couches, let me tell you, and they've been on the want list for a while, and we are overdue. I should immediately go buy a couch, but that's just an example. Our phones. We wear our phones out. My wife wore her phone out and finally had to get a new one. I did the same. Had the same jacket. I'm just trying to think of examples since before my kids were born. Sneakers, I wear them out. And then when finally it's time to give them up, I keep those sneakers and use them to mow the lawn in because you know how to get green and wet and stuff. Just don't always be in a rush to upgrade. At least not before it's truly needed. Number 14, frugal habit from Warren Buffett is to have a simple wedding. And if you guys have a simple wedding, I know we did. A wedding is a great milestone, but it does not have to be extravagant. Save your money and start your marriage together, your lives together with a strong financial footing, a strong financial foundation. Our wedding was at a nice historic chapel here in our hometown, and then we had it at a place called the UNC Club, not at a beautiful lake or any of these other things. I think it costed $200 for the hall, and some places are what, $5,000-$10,000. The place where I work catered the food, and it was delicious, and we got a little deal on it. That was it. Things happen. Photographer, we got some great pics. I remember being so sick of taking pictures, and I wanted to be with my friends, but I'm looking at one of them right now, and that was a good one. And it was one of the last ones, and it's the one that hangs above our mantle. So that was good, but we saved money. We didn't break the bank for that wedding because what's the point? And finally, invest money in things that have cash flow. And Warren Buffett's favorite things to invest in that have cash flow are dividend-paying stocks. I know I talked a little bit about this on the channel. I want to learn a bit more about that. Rental properties, my wife's really not into it. I kind of wish she was. I see the pros and cons. I'm certainly curious about it. And stocks, we invest obviously in a lot of stocks. We take the whole stock market like VTSAX, and that's pretty much what is suggested in the Simple Path to Wealth. Just keep it simple. you basically have the whole United States economy, all excellent cash flow investments. So I hope you found some value from Warren Buffett's 15 frugal habits. I think they're completely life-changing. If you are not doing any of those 15 things and then you start doing 15 of those things, which I can pinpoint my life to when I was and wasn't, life-changing. You're on the highway to freedom. Second topic I want to talk about is one of my favorite topics, is my monthly side hustle and income report. This is my hobby, my passion. It's great to have hobbies that actually pay you money. I had a lot of hobbies that didn't necessarily pay you money. This is what I spend most of my time doing, and it makes me enjoy my off time more. This money has allowed me to have a lot of days/nights off from waiting tables, from my choosing or others, from being overstaffed, from being closed on Wednesdays, from getting the bar fixed. All this stuff has allowed me to find that work-life balance, to do things that I love, and I'm pretty proud of the effort that I put in. I came up with 8 income streams this month outside of my main job of waiting tables. It should be 9. I somehow have not done any product tube gigs this year. I can't believe it. I should be getting $1,000 a year in product tube. That's just me. I just haven't been doing it. I need to start doing it, and I would suggest you guys check out the product tube app. But I'll get into the apps and stuff that I have been using. Number 1, Spark Instacart delivery. I made $559 in March. Pretty good. Happy with that. This week has been super slow with Spark Walmart delivery. I don't know why. It's a little disconcerting, but okay, whatever. $559, not bad. Instacart, $829.53. It's pretty good for Instacart. Makes up for Walmart being a little bit slow. My third income stream is Receipt Hog. It's a receipt rewards app. Anything that you buy out in the stores, go home, take a picture of it in your receipt rewards app. You get $5. Receipt Hog. Snow blowing, I made $100. I'll take it. And it was a very mild winter, so that was a nice little hit. Flipping, and this is what I love, my hobby, $499. 200 of that was off one sale from just walking into a thrift store on a Saturday and finding that Gucci skirt that ended up selling for $200 net profit to me. With that being the case, I just did find these. This is polo jeans, and the cool part about these is they have patches all over them. That's going to be $45 easy. I paid up for those jeans. I paid $10. This right here, this is Alfred University. This is Vintage Champion. It's a reverse weave sweatshirt. I mean, $25 to $30 right there. I paid $5 for it. I did go in there today. I saw another Champion reverse weave sweatshirt from Quinnipiac University, but it looked like it was a little stained. I passed. And I actually saw a pair of jeans, Coogie jeans. Now, typically Coogie sweaters are what you want to find. They're the Bill Cosby crazy sweaters, but I did see a pair of Coogie jeans, and I passed on them. I didn't think they stood out enough to me to warrant anything more than maybe $25. I don't know. I just couldn't justify the $10 purchase on it, so I passed up on them. But so I'll keep going. So $499 flipping. I would suggest you guys get out into the thrift store, find some cool stuff, flip stuff that's in your house that you don't need, keep track of it. It's fun. Learn things that are selling. I'm having fun doing that. I'm definitely going to be talking about that more on this channel because, as you can see, who couldn't use $500 extra this month or next month? Uber Eats. My first Uber Eats of the year was yesterday. I did $8.07 because I was just in a slow time, so I turned on the app and I just hit a super quick delivery from Taco Bell. Receipt Pal, I made $5. Receipt Hog, I made $5. So I wrote Receipt Hog twice. I meant to say Receipt Pal, Receipt Hog, and Fetch Rewards, $5. Okay, so what do those 8 income streams add up to? $2,055.60 outside of my main job of waiting tables in March 2023. If I were to times that times 12, which I did, that would equal $24,667.20. Who couldn't use $24,000, almost $25,000 extra? I don't even think it's work. I'm going out for 2 or 3 hours, maybe 4, if I'm feeling a little frisky, and doing some shopping and delivery where I talk to the nice people and I'm in my car, and yeah, you got to pay a little gas, but $2,000, you're going to come out ahead. I'm snow blowing. I got a little lucky for a payment there, flipping. You got to go out and find the stuff and have the knowledge, and then take some pictures of receipts. Nothing crazy here. So $24,667, if I was to do that every month, I times that by 10. If I were to do this for the next 10 years, which I'm probably going to do, that would equal $246,672. Almost $250,000 for just being active and doing something that I love, and taking pictures of stuff and listening on eBay and Facebook Marketplace and going to get some people's groceries, which is, my God, it's not hard work. It's not work if you love what you do, which is Warren Buffett's #1 frugal habit. So love what you do, and you don't have to get groceries. There's other side hustles out there. Could be writing, could be anything that you want to do. So I'm happy with my March 2023. If I didn't have that, I'd be hurting a little bit. Especially if I didn't have any frugal habits like Warren Buffett talked about. And now the last topic I want to talk about today is Paul Simon's great song, Slidin' Away. And it hit me as a warning, and listening to it as a 43-year-old is so much different than listening to it as an 18-year-old or a 23-year-old or even a 30-year-old. Seeing it now, I just thought it was like a love song, sliding away, like, what sliding away? I guess it was just like love at that point, or I wasn't mature enough to see it as life. So I want to get into a little bit about sliding away. So sliding away is a warning, and there's 3 verses, and it's basically 3 short stories, and each verse is the short story, and then the chorus, sliding away, the nearer your destination, the more you're sliding away, is the moral of the story, to wake us up and to help us break free and to avoid the same fate as these 3 characters. And 3 verses are going to talk about basically how love hurts and being in love with sorrow. Number 2 is going to talk about regret. And number 3 is going to be, which I think is the saddest one, is to not saying how you feel. But I just kind of want to go through a couple of these verses and see what we can get out of them. So the first verse goes, I know a man, he came from my hometown. He wore his passion for his woman like a thorny crown. He said, Dolores, I live in fear. My love for you so overpowering, I'm afraid that I will disappear. So, I know a man, he came from my hometown. He wears passion for his woman like a thorny crown. So, his passion, his love for this woman, he's not just hurting. He sees himself being crucified. That's obviously a Jesus reference. He said, Dolores, I live in fear. Dolores in Spanish means sorrow. My love for you so overpowering, I'm afraid that I will disappear. And so he's going to lose himself in love. Disappear, does it mean death? Does it mean losing himself? He's suffering instead of living. He's so fearful of losing his love that he can't enjoy it. And now that the time is gone, it has slided away. The second verse goes like this. I know a woman became a wife. These are the very words she uses to describe her life. She said a good day ain't got no rain, but a bad day's when I lie in bed and think of things that might have been. So, I know a woman became a wife. So, in this verse, he's saying, that's all she became. Became a wife, not became anything else. And that's fine. But sometimes it's not by choice. And even if it is, sometimes you need to be building things. And I can't say that I speak as an expert on this topic, but I wonder how many people who are stay-home parents feel some of that resentment or regret that they didn't do anything else. They either weren't allowed to, or didn't, or enjoyed staying home at the time and not working, but then wish they did. And these are the very words she uses to describe her life. She said a good day ain't got no rain. That's good. She likes the sunshine. But a bad day's when I lie in bed and think of things that might have been. And so, maybe those days when it's not so sunny and she lies there, what is it, in the morning, maybe she can't get out of bed, or is it at night, maybe she can't fall asleep and her mind's racing all night, and she can't get out of bed in the morning because she can't sleep at night. She's thinking of things that might have been. And slip sliding away, slip sliding away. The nearer your destination, the more you slip sliding away. And so, what does that chorus mean? That's the moral of the story. Slip sliding away, slip sliding away. The nearer your destination. What's your destination? Is it your goal? Maybe that's what I used to think it was. So the closer we get to something, the further it gets away. No, I don't think so. I think the destination is death. And, the nearer your destination, the more you slip sliding away. Because how much do we see time flies as we get older? It goes faster because we're getting nearer to our destination. For a kid, summer is endless. Winter is endless. But how fast did March just go by? How fast did the first 3 months of this year just go by? The nearer your destination, the more you slip sliding away. Finally, this verse hits me the hardest, almost strikes me as the saddest. It's about telling somebody how you feel. It's about a dad who left his family and is separated from his son, maybe physically, maybe emotionally, maybe both. He came a long way to try to say something to his son, and let's see how this verse goes. He goes, I know a father who had a son. He longed to tell him all the reasons for the things he done. He came a long way just to explain. He kissed his boy as he lay sleeping. He turned around and headed home again. So, I know a father who had a son, and he longed to tell him all the reasons for the things he done. So the father had a good reason, right? The father who was separated, he had a son. He wanted to tell his son what happened, why he became separated. He came a long way just to explain. So he came so long from out of state, from across the country, or did he come a long way from finally becoming mature enough and figuring out his life to explain to his son what the heck happened? He kissed his boy as he lay sleeping. He turned around and headed home again. So he comes all the way, gets into the house where his boy is. Is it a metaphor, or is his boy 12, 10, 18? He came a long way just to explain. And he's right there, face to face with his sleeping son. He kissed his boy as he lay sleeping. He turned around and headed home again. He never said how he feels. His son sleeping is peaceful. Maybe at peace with the way life turned out. Maybe at peace with his father not being as much a part of his life as he should have and could have been. And then slip sliding away, slip sliding away. You know, the nearer your destination, the more you slip sliding away. We're working our jobs to collect our pay. God makes his plans. And Paul Simon says, God makes his plans, but the information's unattainable to the mortal man. We're working our jobs, we collect our pay. We think we're gliding down the highway when in fact we're slip sliding away. You know, we think we're doing our thing, right? I'm hustling, I'm doing this. I'm going to work tonight, it's gonna be good. But, you know, we're getting nearer to our destination. So enjoy life and let yourself love. Get out of bed and do the things that you don't want to regret not doing. And say the things that you want to say to the people in your life. And you're going to be free from sorrow. You're going to be free from regret. And you're going to be free from holding on to those things that were never said. And even on a smaller scale, I wish that I could have said more to my grandparents. I wish I could have said more to my friend who passed away. Wish I talked to my parents more about my grandparents and more about their lives as a kid. Tell me some stories about when you were a kid. Tell me some stories about what was the ordinary magic moments in between that you spent in your living room with your parents. And I never want to be that father who had a son and longed to tell my kids about all the reasons for the things I'd done. That's my driving force in life, to always be there for my kids and tell them everything that I want to say. Tell them all the stories of my life. Ask them questions and never be separated from them in a way where they don't know exactly how I feel. And I understand that some separations happen, and that's fine, but let's at least get our feelings out there, because we think we're going along in our lives, but it's not necessarily in our control. It's in God's control, and we don't know exactly what's going to happen. So I hope this video finds you well. I hope you found some wisdom and some lessons in that song. I hope I got the message across, and I can't wait to talk to you on the next video. Break free.